Now here's an interesting story. CDPR's co-CEO hopes Witcher 4 wins back players after heartbreaking Cyberpunk 2077 launch. I actually remember when I first played Cyberpunk 2077, or rather when I finished it. And even though I didn't have lots of bugs like other people had, there was this omnipresent feeling that the game was underbaked. A lot. And that being said, I think Nowakowski is being more realistic than a lot of executives tend to be. They could have said something like, "We've fixed Cyberpunk 2077, players love it now, redemption complete." Which from a certain point of view you could say that's true, especially when Phantom Liberty was released. However, instead he acknowledges something many fans still feel. Trust, once broken, doesn't automatically come back. And if you guys remember, the game was so buggy it was removed from PlayStation Store. They offered refunds, and CDPR went from being one of the most beloved studios in gaming to a cautionary tale almost overnight. I mean, I was the one who pre-ordered Cyberpunk 2077, which is something I rarely do. And when I saw what happened with the game, it kinda made me rethink my future actions in a sense that should I pre-order Witcher 4 or Cyberpunk 2 when it finally gets announced, which means you will have the opportunity to pre-order the damn thing. And basically, even though the game is genuinely very good today, the pre-order element is something that many people will question first, and then maybe buy on day one. But some people won't even buy on day one. And that's not irrational. Because once you break trust, it really is earned really slowly. Also, one thing about Phantom Liberty. That expansion showed CDPR could still deliver the kind of quality storytelling, world building and RPG design we expect from them. And if you play the game, they weren't just fixing mistakes. They were actually proving they could still make great games. And to be honest, they don't really need to prove that. We already know what they're capable of. But the problem here is delivering something that's properly planned and consistent, and not having a situation where you definitely see that certain systems weren't developed till the end. Now, however, The Witcher 4 isn't going to be just another sequel. For many people, it will probably answer one question, which is, did CDPR learn from Cyberpunk's launch? But here lies the problem. Not only Witcher 4 needs to be revolutionary, at least some people think like that, but it needs to launch polished. If The Witcher 4 launches in excellent technical condition across all platforms, that's probably worth more to CDPR than any marketing campaign they could run. Basically, you just need to play the game, see that everything works, see that all the systems are properly fleshed out, and you basically won. However, if it launches broken again, the damage would be far worse than Cyberpunk because people would view it as a proof that nothing was learned. And to be honest, I don't think that we are going to see this, especially because they said they're not going to make the same mistake, which was basically launching the game on the old-gen consoles. I think that was a big issue, if not the biggest issue of them all. And when I was talking about that it needs to be revolutionary, if you take Witcher 3, for example, as a starting point, a benchmark for Witcher 4, there are a lot of things that need to be addressed. Some of them I talked about in my video titled Things That I Would Like to See in The Witcher 4. I mean, I adore Witcher 3, I played it 10 times already, but I can still acknowledge there were issues that really didn't resonate well when you look at the game as a single package. Also, when you look at the interview, the most encouraging part of it wasn't the redemption talk. It was the part where Nowakowski said they don't want to become a studio releasing a major game every year. The industry is full of examples where aggressive release schedules hurt quality. And I think everyone knows which studio is doing that. Ubisoft. Because if you're trying to become an annual content machine, that would be a mistake. And a colossal one, to be honest with you. Things need to bake, things need to sort of mature. You need to see the proper feedback, what people are telling you, and that 2, maybe 3-year break between the releases is actually what you need. Otherwise, you are just trapped in your own echo chamber, thinking that everything that you do is going to be amazing. I mean, sure, you're going to have a couple of these lucky releases where everything is kind of going to feel amazing, but ultimately, complacency is always going to hit you no matter what if you are not looking at a big picture. If I'm being honest, my concern isn't The Witcher 4 itself. It's that CDPR now has The Witcher 4, Cyberpunk 2, Witcher Remake, and other Witcher projects reportedly in development. The studio is much larger than it was during the Witcher 3 era, but managing multiple massive RPG projects simultaneously is going to be difficult. For example, scope creep, communication issues, and maybe deadline pressure could exactly be the problems that might mess up with their projects, which basically contributed to Cyberpunk's troubled launch. Overall, however, I think Nowakowski's comments are a good sign because they show humility rather than victory lap PR. CDPR has largely redeemed Cyberpunk 2077 as a game, and whether they're fully redeemed themselves as a company depends on what happens when The Witcher 4 launches. You know, people don't really care about redemption arcs. They care about the next release. And if The Witcher 4 ships polished and lives up to expectations, a lot of people will consider the lesson learned. And if it doesn't, the Cyberpunk launch will become the defining story of CDPR rather than a temporary setback. And as far as I'm concerned, I wish CDPR the very best, because I see the potential they have. It would be such a shame that something bad happens with The Witcher 4, and I definitely hope everything is going to be okay. And that's basically the news. Thanks very much for watching, and as always, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And that's it from me, until the next one.